Bellator 237 has just wrapped up. Here is your full mount MMA recap. Michael Venom Page defeated Shinsho Anzai via KO in the second round.
It was the Pancrase middleweight champion, and he's starting to look like a kid before it's over. It is all over, just like that.
Michael Chandler defeated Sidney Outlaw via KO in the first round.
What good, shot. That's a big shot right there.
It is all over, just like that. Michael Chandler by knockout.
And Fedor Emelianenko defeated Rampage Jackson via TKO in the first round.
Fedor doing a very good job of actually confusing Rampage about where he's going to attack. Big shot down, and it is all big shot. Fedor Emelianenko.
After the fight, Fedor announced his retirement from MMA.
Unfortunately and regretfully, I want to say that perhaps my career stops here on my win in Japan, where I started, and then I'm finishing my career here. And thank you very much for supporting me over the years. Thank you very much. That's the end of my tour.
Here are some reactions from the MMA community. Mac Malley says the only rampage that Quentin Jackson has gone on in the last few years is at the buffet. Ally Quinta says Fedor is still Fedor, Rampage not so much. Angela Hill tweeted this photo and said, I guess you could say Rampage is big in Japan. Dylan Danis says plot twist, Rampage transformed into titties. James Vick says even at 43, Fedor still has that hand speed. And Tatiana Suarez says, man, Fedor, why was Rampage shaking his head? Did he think he was still on his feet? Sucks to see him get KO'd. Brian Ortega on UFC Unfiltered speaks on his ACL injury. He also speaks on Alexander Volkanovski's win over Max Holloway.
It was during wrestling. It was a Friday, I think. Let's say Thanksgiving Friday or somewhere around there. And I went to spar, regular sparring, whatever, did everything. Fourth round, I had a second. So I have two fresh guys every 2.5 minutes. Fourth round, I had the second fresh guy. And he went for a single leg against the wall. And then I tried to get out of it. And then he hiked it up. And then my knee stayed against the wall. My ankle went up. And then I just heard a big old tear in it. I heard a crazy noise in it and trying to figure out what it was. And then he thought it was a Velcro from my shin pad. I was like, no, dude, that was my knee. I hear all these weird noises when I'm training. So I don't know if this is something, should I really be scared, or is it just some weird thing that my body is now doing? I don't know. Well, the second day I couldn't walk and I was on crutches. And then after that, I was like, nah, guys, I have to fight. I was like, I have to do this. We're pretty much 3 weeks out. I was like, let's see what we can do. So I had a bunch of guys over at the house working on me constantly. I was doing everything for a week, flushing all the swelling out, doing 10 minutes in the hot tub, 7 minutes ice bath, and then redoing it and just doing all kinds of stuff, anti-inflammatory, anything that I can do on physically on my part, I did it. And I gave myself a week. And then after a week, I tried training again, and they're like, yo, yeah, you're moving, and yeah, you're back, but it's not you. It's just a 30% you. I felt it was great, man. I felt like, the game plan that Volkanovski put on was great. Well, yeah, he defeated him. He obviously showed the weakness in there, And now the real weakness is if he can do it twice. Because if he can do it twice, that means he's pretty much got him,
John Jones reveals that he wanted to fight Stipe Miocic prior to Stipe and Daniel Cormier getting booked. Jones says that after the Santos fight that he was at a place where he wanted to start entertaining the heavyweight division. He told media, I was trying to get a Stipe Miocic fight. I thought that maybe it would happen, but instead we have Stipe DC3. But at the moment I was so ready to go to heavyweight and stick my hands in with some of those big fellas. After this Thiago Santos fight, I was at a place where I wanted to start entertaining the heavyweight division. I've been wrestling with my brother my whole life. I've been going with Andrei Arlovski and Alistair Overeem and all these big guys my whole career, and I've always done well. At 240 pounds, I move just as well as I do at light heavyweight. My versatility, I realize, is not things most heavyweights would do. Spinning things, flying knees, things like that. I feel really good. Time is going to be really close. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in 2020. I was 240 not that long ago. Right now, I'm living with my nutritionist, and I built a home gym in my garage, and I feel really, really good right now. I'm 230 with a six-pack. Joseph Benavidez speaks on his upcoming flyweight title fight against Davison Figueiredo.
So honestly, it was a fast process. It's just been a few days of talking about it. For me, I'm here in Las Vegas. I'm at the UFC offices every day, so I try to be proactive. I think a lot of people think so much social media and stuff is real life, but I'm here every day trying to talk, trying to, represent myself to the bosses and who I have to and everything. And I don't stoop to the, making weird videos on Twitter calling out Cejudo. It's just, I do what I have to do. And I've been in here talking for a long time. And honestly, the day after the fight on Saturday, I think a lot of it laid on these fights happening on Saturday and what was going to kind of happen with the, Jan, Faber, Aldo, Marias, bantamweight thing. And right when it was done, I called the powers that be on Sunday. And I was like, hey, I know it's Sunday and everyone needs a rest, but what's up? Like, there has to be some clarity after this week, and everything that happened. I thought me and Cejudo were actually agreeing to fight at bantamweight, but now you see him doing, he's back at it, calling out Aldo. So it's obviously he doesn't want to fight me. Like, what are we doing? And the bosses were pretty much like, yeah, we agree. We thought we had something, and he's kind of veering off. It's obvious he doesn't want to do it, and we're gonna have to make another fight. We have you and Figueiredo in mind, and we're gonna make him aware he definitely doesn't want to go back to flyweight. So I guess that must have been the case, because right after that, by Tuesday, Wednesday, I was hearing back on stuff. So and here we are.
Jorge Masvidal speaks on what would happen if him and Conor McGregor fought. Masvidal says that it would be an honor to fight him. On the Jim Rome show, he went on to say he gets melted. The world is looking for him is for him to suffer and get chastised for some of the things that he's done in public. Everybody's going to feel sorry for him after the fight. I can tell you that much. They'll forgive him all after the fight. I can promise you that. This baptism's going to be a little extra for Mr. Conor. My journey has been going on 16 years and I want to be handsomely rewarded for it, because for a big part of that 16 years there was a lot of instability and money that wasn't coming in. Paychecks weren't coming in. I wouldn't mind setting up that future for my grandkids. So the fight that you get the biggest zeros attached to it, that's the one we're going to take. Obviously, Conor fight is out there. The Mayweather fight is out there. They're saying they're bringing him over to Zuffa Boxing. The Usman fight is out there. I'm the golden ticket at combat sports, especially at 170 pounds. You can't move in that weight class without mentioning me or having to ask permission to the mighty Gamebred. And it's just the truth. I might come off ignorant and arrogant, but I've been working my whole life for this. To get to this position where now I can be involved in the biggest fights possible and I can rewrite the history books. Because whoever has that belt when I'm done with Conor, that's whose head's getting chopped off. And of course, I'd like to fight Conor. Not just because he brings in a lot of cash and eyeballs to the sport, but he's a two-time champion. He's one of the few to do it, and he did it in outstanding fashion. Both guys that he defeated for the belt, he did it with no pressure, no resistance, nothing. So it would be an honor to fight with him. And Michael Bisping on the Believe You Me podcast speaks on Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. He said that Colby Covington embarrassed himself and it was a justified stoppage.
As we've seen time and time again, two wrestlers, two grapplers, they cancel each other out. And there was no takedown attempts. I don't think there was a single takedown attempt throughout the entire fight. And what we were treated to was a fantastic boxing display. I don't think there was many kicks either, if I remember correctly. And both the high output from both of them. There was a lot of strikes landed, and both of them looked fantastic. Usman's striking looked really improved, really good use of the uppercuts. Colby, as always, had the fast-paced pressure. He was in the face. He was trying to walk him down. And yet, it was so even. Every round was really hard to score. And I agree with 2-2 going into the final round. And, there is a lot of, I saw some articles this week, people are talking about how people's disdain for Colby is overshadowing the courage that he showed. Because his jaw got broken out of the second or probably the third round. And he continued to fight. And he almost went the distance. Almost. There was 50 seconds left in the fight. To continue fighting with a broken jaw, right? That takes a lot of balls. And to continue in the style that he has, walking forward, throwing shots, really trying to win that fight and in such an exciting style as well, speaks volumes to his character, to his fighting spirit, and he should be very proud of that. But as you say, he undermines all of that when he comes out and is kind of a sore loser. Listen, the nut shot was fake, the eye poke wasn't, and the stoppage was just. And if there was 50 seconds left, if Goddard hadn't have stepped in, Usman would have landed another 20 shots. He got dropped, he got back to his feet, he got dropped again, and he was just eating shots. At that point, he covered up. Mark Goddard gave him chance. If he didn't step in there, he would have eaten another 20 punches. Listen, it's a shame. I understand why he's upset. He put his heart and soul into that fight. He got a broken jaw. He fought his ass off, but it wasn't good enough on the night, right? Commiserations. It was a great fight. Be happy in that. You didn't win the belt. I understand. He failed. He embarrassed himself. He talked a lot of shit. He even said that fake newsman, Marty fake newsman, was going to be drinking through a straw because he was going to break his jaw. So what about, I mean, that is karma right then and there. It was a just stoppage. Goddard did a good job. The eye poke was real. Listen, it was a great fight.
That's going to wrap it up for the news. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to Full Mount MMA on YouTube. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Tyron Woodley saying he was disgusted by Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. The first one says, STFU Woodley, just go and fight. The second one says, Woodley naturally is the most hated person in MMA. All he has to do is be himself for that title. And the final one says, Woodley loses a rematch with Usman, needs to chill. GSP, the welterweight GOAT. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next video, be sure to drop a comment down below on this one.